You are listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast with Maggie Green, episode number 366.
Welcome to the Cookbook Love Podcast, a podcast that celebrates cookbook readers, buyers, collectors, writers, and clubs. And now your host, cookbook author, culinary dietitian, and cookbook writing coach, Maggie Green.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. How's everybody doing today? Episode 366. If you divide 366 by 52, that means that I have been releasing a show every Thursday for the past 7 years. Getting ready to start my 8th year next week. And I want to announce that right off the bat to tell you, first of all, how proud I am of myself for continuing this project, how grateful I am to you, my beautiful, lovely listeners, and to those of you who are listening who have published a cookbook, because I know you're out there, I know you're listening, and you have written or published a cookbook, maybe on your own through what you've heard here or through some of the programs and courses that I teach. I just want you to know how proud I am of you. One of the things that I think makes the biggest difference when it comes to talking about what we do in our lives is being able to share the results of what people have been able to accomplish because of the work that we do. This is the highest level of talking about what we do. It's not just me, Maggie, what I do. It's not just you and you listening, but it's what you have been able to accomplish as a result of listening to this show. And even if it hasn't been publishing a cookbook or taking a course that I offer, that's great. This podcast has been my gift to you to discover new cookbooks, perhaps. Get some tips about things I've been cooking in my own kitchen that you can take to your kitchen, and really, truly experiencing more love and joy and fun in your life because of this podcast. That is why I do what I do, not just in the podcast, but it's why I do what I do when I write cookbooks, when I teach people about writing cookbooks, and even when I talk about marketing and promoting cookbooks, because the highest thing that we can aspire to do is help someone have a better life and then talk about those results to other people. So down below in the show notes, I am going to link to some episodes of students of mine that have published cookbooks. So if you look below, you're going to see several links. These are people who have achieved the results of publishing a cookbook through the work that I do. And also, as you know, there are hundreds of episodes of interviews with other cookbook authors that have published cookbooks, not as a direct result of anything that I taught them, but it's just so fun to have them on the show to hear about their cookbook publishing journey. And I've been able to talk about a lot of different types of publishing. And obviously the three main types are self-publishing, where you wear all the hats of the writing and publishing process. You build your own team to help you edit, design, and produce the book. Then there's traditional publishing, which is where you write a book for a traditional publisher, and they take care of all the production of the book, and you get royalties off the book. And then the third way is hybrid publishing. I've talked to authors who have hybrid published beautiful cookbooks that are packaged and created by publishers. They look just exactly like a traditionally published book, but the financial responsibility for the creation of the book is up to the author and not the publisher. But that works beautifully for many of the people who I've talked to who have wine stores or wineries, successful food blogs, bakeries, restaurants, where there's already a built-in business with a large following of people, a large customer base that is interested in buying the book. So it's been great to talk about publishing, talk about these people, but I'm going to share some links below again with people who have published books as a result of the work that they've done here in my programs, because I think sharing the results is important. And this takes time. That's one reason I continue to do this podcast, is because publishing is not an overnight thing. I could literally teach you all how in one day to publish a low content book on Amazon. It's something you could do in a project just for a day. You could have a journal or some sort of a low content book published on Amazon. But to write a book and create the content for a book and to get it published, it's a trajectory of at least 90 days. And for traditional publishing, perhaps a lot longer than that. But the links that I'm going to share below are the people that I have directly worked with. I've gotten to know as friends. I'm so proud of them and of the work that they have done. But behind all of this, behind them and the other hundreds of cookbook authors I've talked to, I want to talk about something today that we don't talk about nearly enough. And think about this as the hidden beginning of publishing, or the secret ingredient of the best cookbooks. Because this part of the journey happens before there's ever even outlines for a book, before we write manuscripts for a book. And it's from where from this place where you realize that publishing is the next logical step for you. And I just want you to listen in as I talk about this hidden beginning of publishing. So the first thing that I want to talk about, it's going to be 3 parts, is the opportunity to publish. Now, in last week's show, actually 2 weeks ago, I talked about gatekeepers in publishing and how the publishing industry has changed so much over the past several years. Publishers are more open to a wide variety of stories and cultures and writing. Traditional publishers are. Agents want to represent different kinds of writers. And that also self-publishing has changed in terms of the platforms we can use, the tools we can use to help design our books, all the things that go into book publishing. It's really a change. So my conclusion when I talked about the gatekeeper is that the only gatekeeper really for publishing is ourselves. We need to sort of, I guess in a short way, I don't want to say the whole episode over again, but give ourselves permission to enter this publishing space. But what does that mean? So this episode, but the first thing you're going to want to think about is when you giving yourself permission is just to see the opportunity that publishing really is. When someone wants to write a cookbook, it is because they are filled with knowledge related to food, cooking, or nutrition, or they have gathered knowledge from other people that they want to publish. This is exactly what Irma Rombauer did when she self-published the first edition of The Joy of Cooking in 1931. She was not a particularly good cook or baker. No, that's not true. She wasn't a particularly good cook. She loved cakes and she loved baking. And so she knew where to get the best recipes from the people that she was in contact with and in connection with in St. Louis. And she self-published the first edition of Joy, 3,000 copies, and it went on to become what we know as one of the best American published cookbooks of all time. And something that I had the honor of being involved with in the 2006 edition, which was the 75th anniversary edition of Joy, and meeting Ethan, Irma's grandson, working closely with him, and then meeting John, his son, and his lovely wife, Megan, who ultimately have gone on to publish the 2019 edition of Joy, which was the last time the book was revised right before the pandemic. So this really wasn't supposed to turn into a discussion about Joy of Cooking, but I just want you to know that Irma, when she wrote the first Joy, had a desire to do it, and she had the knowledge and the information she had collected from other people, and she wanted to publish it. This is true for us when we are dietitians, culinary pros, family recipe collectors, whatever it is. You have a collection of knowledge. And right now, they're sitting in scattered notebooks, files, in your memory, on note cards. But the opportunity for publishing is to turn them into something permanent, something shareable, something that I think really gives dignity to all this knowledge that you have. You no longer have a risk of things being lost. It preserves the recipes. You can multiply your reach and go into kitchens where you've never even thought about entering because it multiplies who you are and your ability to help people. It dignifies your voice and it dignifies your recipes when they're published. It can create income for you if you're interested in creating an income stream, and it helps make cooking easier, more joyful, and more meaningful for other people. Plus, for people that never even really cook or bake a lot, cookbooks provide a lot of joy and meaning for people who love to read cookbooks. Never forget that, especially when you're writing your cookbook, that there are a whole group of people, many who listen to this show, who just love to read cookbooks. So there's a huge opportunity for you to take this knowledge that you have and turn it into something that is publishable. The second thing that happens is when we see this opportunity and we decide we're going to publish, the thing that changes, and this is number 2, is that we become a cookbook author. We add something to who we are that so many people dream about but never do. I don't know if they don't see the opportunity or they don't want to invest the time in it. I'm not exactly sure. I have a hard time believing that so many people have so much knowledge in their head, so much knowledge they've collected, and they would not want to do this. But I was so convicted to do it, and I was so determined that I, of course, have made this my life's work. Writing cookbooks, helping people write cookbooks, talking about cookbooks, because I believe that's a beautiful way to help people heal, learn, and have fun in the kitchen. So once we become a cookbook author, doors open in a lot of ways that never would have even opened when we're just sitting there with this unpublished knowledge. Opportunities to participate in media, print media, digital media. This happened to one of my students recently. She got asked to host this show for a whole week because of a cookbook that she wrote. You get invited to events. You get asked to be on panels. You get to be invited to summits. You get to do collaborations. You'll have credibility in your field. It is almost like a passport into a whole new world just because of this cookbook. And I think that actually the emotional weight of the knowledge is lifted when we finally have a shareable way to preserve and give and share the recipes and the stories that we have. Plus the impact it has on people we've never even met. My cookbooks have sold all over the world. I have no idea who a lot of the people are who bought them. I met many people if I would go out to events. But that's the neat thing about a cookbook is where they can reach, who they can reach, the kitchens they go into, and then sometimes hearing back from these people and the impact of joy, connection, confidence, tradition that were sparked by what you put into a cookbook. I have a woman that every Thanksgiving, I probably can expect to get an email from her where her family cooks out of Kentucky Fresh, the menu that I put in there for Thanksgiving, and the recipes that go along with it, because they work and they made her Thanksgiving life so much easier. They have become part of her family tradition. That is amazing. And that's a result that I think is just terrific. Then the third thing that happens is opportunity, and then what changes is that we really have to own our decision to publish. Unfortunately, even if you hire a ghostwriter, you have to make the decision to publish. Nobody else can make that decision for you. It's our responsibility, first of all, to own the knowledge that we have, or own the recipes that we've collected, or own the recipes that we've written, and to decide that we are going to invest our time to turn them into a book. We also have to be committed to it. Once we decide, we say, okay, I'm in it to win. I'm in it to get this published. I'm in it to get to the finish line. My vision is to finish this book. And then the third thing is showing up to the work, choosing a concept, setting deadlines, making decisions, doing what you need to do, asking for help, building a team, becoming part of a coaching program, whatever it is, so that you can actually reach the finish line. I have had students do this in 12 weeks. I've had students do this in 6 months. I've had students do this in 5 years. And the time doesn't really matter because everybody moves at a different pace. But it's just important to know that if you start and if you're committed to it, you can get results. The only way you won't get the result you want is if you quit. That's it. It may not be as fast as you thought. It may not be as easy as you thought, but the only way that you will not get the result of a finished book is if you quit the process. This kind of makes me reflect. Tomorrow is my wedding anniversary. Been married to Warren for 38 years, and the only way that I will ever not get the result of being married for life to one person is if I stop. And there's no reason to stop. And it's kind of the way I feel about this podcast. I don't really have any reason to stop. I'm committed to it. I'll keep going. I've owned the Green Apron Company, which is the overarching S Corp for my business, for 31 years. I've done a variety of things under this umbrella. And if I want to continue to get the results I'm having, I just keep on going every day, showing up, except on the weekend. I'm pretty protective of my weekends. Especially, protective of my weekends. I've always kind of been that way. I structure my life so that I can really enjoy working during the week and then having the weekends off. I'm even to a point where I'm really good at boiling down a lot of what I do into Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, giving me some flexibility on Monday and Friday for having long weekends. For example, tomorrow we're taking the day off to celebrate our anniversary, and then Saturday going to watch University of Kentucky play Ole Miss in a football game. So love being able to have this flexibility and this time freedom that I've created in my business. But that's what ownership looks like, is investing in it and knowing that you can own the responsibility, the commitment, and that once you publish the book, this will carry you over into the marketing and promotion of your book, which really at the highest level is just talking to your people about the results that you help people get in their kitchen. That's how you make your marketing and promotion feel less salesy, less like you're just tooting your own horn. You're not doing that. You're talking about how you're helping people in their kitchen and getting in touch with your readers and your community and showing them how they can get better results in their kitchen, how your book can help them, and then reporting back on those results. So in closing, the secret ingredient is love. Love of the life you have made in your kitchen. Love of the life that you have created, collecting and amassing this knowledge and the opportunity that you have there. And then love for the people that you are, the person you are, and the people that you can help is the middle part, the change that could take place. And then the last part, owning this decision to publish, and love for the process of publishing, love for creating the book, and the results that come from committing to finishing it, and the love for sharing your book with other people and the results that they are going to get in their kitchen. So to me, that's what the secret ingredient is before we ever start our cookbooks or before we ever publish. It's a hidden ingredient, but it's love. And to me, that's what cookbook love really means. It's not necessarily love of this book, or which is an object, but the love that spills over into my life and into your life because of this book and because of the way these books bring us all together, help us be the people we want to be, help us share more joy with the world, and help us to help other people have the same results in their life. So if you see the opportunity for you to package your information, your recipes, whatever you have that you want to package, and you understand that this is going to change who you are, and you're ready to decide to publish, I do want to let you know that Cookbooks on KDP for the fall session of 2025 is currently open. This is a group coaching program where I help cooks, bakers, culinary pros, dietitians package and publish their recipes in a book on Amazon. I'll also teach you about Ingram Spark if you want to have a place for your books to be ordered by bookstores, etc. And you're going to be able to learn all about that. So head on over to www.cookbookwritersacademy.com/KDP. You can read about the program. The doors close this Saturday, September the 13th. So if you are interested and you're hearing this message, you have about 48 more hours to decide to enroll. I will not offer this program again until 2026. So this is your time to join if you want to learn all about the path to publishing through the self-publishing model. So that is it for this episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. This is your host, Maggie Green. And until next time, have a great day and keep loving your cookbooks.
Thanks for listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast. You can find out more information at www.cookbooklove.co.